Hi, I'm Oliver and this is Deep Cuts, a channel dedicated to music for lovers of music. So the last record that I listened to in 2020 was Mad Villainy, one of the greatest hip hop records of all time. Now the reason I put it on, and I'm sure most of you will know why, is because I just learnt about the tragic passing of Daniel DeMille, aka MF Doom. His passing has come as a huge shock to the music community. His wife Jasmine posted on his Instagram to tell everyone he died on the 31st of October. Truly the craziest date for the masked villain to move on to the next world. Sitting there in disbelief, it was heartening to see my timeline filled to the brim with people paying tribute to this incredible artist. You know, people like Danny Brown, Questlove, Denzel Curry, but also all of these music fans who had fallen in love with his music. Someone who's had a profound effect on creatives, musicians, artists the world over. People who discovered Food or Mad Villainy as their gateway drug into the world of hip-hop. Comic geeks who fell for his enigmatic masked character. Lyricists inspired by his nimble songwriting, beatmakers poring over the treasure trove that is the Special Herbs volumes. He showed people that you could build on a culture that you loved and you could respect it, but at the same time you could satirize, reshape, and sometimes go completely left field. So this isn't the kind of video that I'd normally do. This is an opportunity for all of us to bask in his brilliance. It's to swap our favourite projects of his in the comments section and to show the people who haven't dived into his discography yet why MF Doom was a true original. Daniel DeMille was a self-obsessed comic nut from an early age. He was collecting Marvel comics. He was just sort of engrossed in the world of spandexed heroes and villains. Growing up in Long Beach, he became more and more interested in hip-hop and started making his own mixtapes, eventually dubbing himself Zev Love X and forming the landmark hip-hop trio KMD with his brother DJ Subrock, who tragically died in '93, aged just 19. For a taste of KMD and early DeMille, check out the track Hum Rush from the first record, Mr. Hood. Features some samples from Bert and Ernie, and it genuinely sounds like an off-kilter song from a weird unreleased episode of Sesame Street. Returning to music towards the end of the decade, DeMille wanted something he could embody, like a new dimension to add to his music, and an outlet as well. The way comics are written shows you the duality of things, how the bad guy ain't really the bad guy if you look at it from his perspective. I was looking for an angle that would be brand new. That's when I came up with the character and worked out the kinks. That's the villain. MF Doom was born based heavily on Dr. Doom, the arch nemesis of Marvel's Fantastic Four. The way he fused hip-hop with comic book culture was way ahead of its time, and it underpins all of his music with this playful concept, something that comes alive in the Fantastic Four cartoon samples on a track like Deep Fried Friends. The artwork, the endless photos of DeMille performing while wearing that distinctive mask, or even just making macaroni. It gave him this mythos that made the use of things like cartoons, superhero samples and stuff not sound gimmicky, but truly compelling and original, and this blend of music and cel-shaded villainy. He baked it into his debut record Operation Doomsday on that opening skit, The Time We Faced Doom. He used other personas too, and he would be playful with intersecting the two of them. So on the track Fancy Clown, for example, from Mad Villainy, Victor Vaughn is fuming that his girlfriend has basically cheated on him with none other than Doom himself. I knew you was fucking around, playing the innocent and hoeing since the foundation. Don't make me have to pound his tin crown face in. Like all the best comic book creations, Doom understood the power of a team-up. Although he was a brilliant producer in his own right, and we'll get to some of that in a bit, he seemed to crave working alongside other creative people, and actually some of the best work he's ever done was born from those cauldrons of healthy collaboration. And with these collaborations came the melding of personas, with Mad Villain obviously with Mad Lib, Doom Starks with Ghostface Killer, Neruvian Doom with Bishop Nehru, Danger Doom with Danger Mouse. It's no secret that Mad Villainy with Mad Lib is one of the greatest hip-hop records of all time. I said it at the beginning, I'm going to say it again because it just is. You know, Madlib's crate-digging obsession is a pitch-perfect combination with Doom's lyricism, and it's 46 minutes of just plain brilliance. Tracks like the brassy all caps with that very important line, just remember, all caps when you spell the man name. Remember, seriously, any use of lowercase Doom in the comments section is getting deleted. Even the short interludes like Bistro, they're almost infuriatingly short because they sound so good and you just want them to go on for longer. You have that brilliant use of a sample from the soul band Atlantic Star's track Second to None, and then you have Doom introducing the audience to Mad Villain, Bistro, Bed and Breakfast, Bar and Grill, Cafe, Lounge on the Water. On 2005's The Mouse and the Mask, Doom teamed up with another artist and producer that uses a comic book alter ego persona, this time Danger Mouse, who takes inspiration from the 80s British cartoon of the same name. The madcap absurdity is tenfold on this release, and it makes sense when you look at these two different artists. The pair are tag teaming off the walls with these comedic moments, like at the end of the track The Mask, the Sniper Light EP with Doom, Ghostface and Jay Dilla, his collaboration with Bishop Nehru. I mean, you know, the spirit of collaboration was Doom, and I think in many ways that's the reason, you know, he has had such an influence on the music world, the hip-hop world, because he worked with so many different people. You know, he made his mark and inspired people from all different parts of the hip-hop sphere. You know, and I think that's such a big part of it, and really important if you want to understand why he was so brilliant. It takes a special kind of lyricist to be able to balance funny, unexpected and surprising within a few bars, and also seem pretty laid back and effortless, but it's one of the numerous talents that Doom had. Now I could spend the next 10 minutes picking out brilliant little turns of phrase that are so effective and simple and they get stuck in your head, like tripping off the beat, kinda dripping off the meat grinder, or mad villainy. Often the genius was in the economy of his words. You know, he wasn't trying to be overly verbose in his rhyming, like someone like Aesop Rock, and there's nothing against Aesop Rock there, it's just a completely different kind of approach. I think he had a way of expressing things that could seem deceptively simple, but actually they have a lot of impact, and that really takes talent. And pulling off delightful rhymes like on Beef Rap, a rhyming cannibal who's dressed to kill and cynical, whether it's animal, vegetable or mineral, it's a miracle how he gets so lyrical. And his lyricism would be nothing without being able to stick the landing with his delivery. DeMille had a much higher cadence in his KMD days, but by the time we get around to Operation Doomsday, he's sporting this kind of punchy, low-end, sort of slurred diction with enough elasticity to work well with laid-back R&B beats, or then something that's a bit more paranoid, like the track Pop Snot from Vaudeville Villain. It allowed him to go hard on a track like Gas Drools and still be clear enough to hear all of his verbiage. You know, you always could understand what he was saying, and that's important because you don't want to miss those lovely little turns of phrase. You want to pour all over this lyricism because it's poetry, it's brilliant. You know, how many people have spent time on Genius just looking through Doom's tracks? I mean, I know I have for sure. To not talk about his own production talent would be doing the man a huge disservice. We're always talking about the effortless crate digging of Madlib, but how about the way DeMille uses Sade's Is It a Crime and tightens it up, adds boom bap, high-gated drums onto this kind of lounge jazz sound. It's excellent. Using his alter ego Metal Fingers or Metal Fingered Villain when he's doing his production thing, he's been consistently surprising since the release of his debut record. He's always flexing his muscles and trying different things. One of his greatest turns, and I think many a Doom fan will agree with me, was his 2003 record, King Ghidorah, where he lays down production for rappers like Curious, MF Grimm, Lil Psy. Some of the loops on this record are fucking transformative, like that distorted guitar line and strings on Fastlane, the bass percussion fizz on Monster Zero, the brilliant simplicity of Antimatter, and of course his Special Herbs mixtapes, something that I came across a number of years ago, and they were revelatory to me, getting lost in this instrumental hip-hop that was consistently surprising and interesting and had you clicking replay every single time you got to the end of them. I mean, it's brilliant. There's like 10 volumes of this, and there are a couple of instrumental versions of tracks on some of his records, so there are a few surprises in there if you listen, but I mean, you know, there's no denying his talent as a producer. Doom will never be forgotten and was one of the greatest ever to do it. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please join me in the comment section to talk about your favourite projects, your favourite tracks, your favourite aspects of this brilliant artist that has so tragically been taken from us and from his family. We're going to be listening to one of his records on Thursday on the Deep Cuts Discord. I'm going to do a straw poll for which record you want to listen to, so if you want to vote for that, then go to the comments section. I'll be back soon with more videos, more analysis, more bits and bobs. See you soon.